Hi, did you know that this Friday, April 11th, is National Pet Day? I'm Jennifer, the traveling publisher, and I'm here with one of my authors, Victoria Alercia, who is here to talk
Mm.
about her awesome book. Hi, Vicky, how are you?
Hi, thank you for having me, Jen. I'm super excited.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm
Mhm,
really excited to talk about your book, Skeeter Saves
mhm.
the Day, and why you have so very many tips. Yay! We're like matching sets. You have so many tips about your book and for aspiring authors. So thank you
Mhm.
so much, Vicky.
Thank
So
you.
a little bit about your book and how it's so perfect for National Pet Day.
Sure, thank you. So, our beloved Skeeter, our border collie, went to puppy heaven almost 2 years ago, in June, and he was our one and only dog. And so I just knew when he passed that I had to do something else. Like we had to do something in memory of him to keep our love alive for him. And so my two of my sons wanted to go on this journey with me, Daniel and Mark, who are the illustrators of the book, and it just became part of our grieving process and just this beautiful journey of sharing our love for Skeeter. And now we have, our book that we can share with other families, parents, children as they're navigating, their journey with their own, not just dogs, but pets in general, as, how they've contributed to their life. And then after they leave us, right? What are the memories that we're left with?
Exactly, Vicky, and that is so awesome. And you have so much advice here in this book for aspiring authors because you did everything right in this beautiful book. And so, Skeeter Saves the Day will link in the description. So, one of the things I think that you did so very right is you found and identified a need and you filled it, right?
Mhm.
Because as a mom of three sons, you know how hard it is to lose a pet. And so,
Sure.
right, you identified that need. And I'm sure there's other books about losing a pet, but the thing is there's always room for more because everyone
Mhm.
has a unique thing. One of the other things that's so valuable about this book is you're also an expert. Besides being a mom of three, you're a counselor. And so tell
Mhm.
me a little bit about the tips that you included
Mhm.
in this book.
Yeah. Yeah, I that is one of the things that I love about it. Like I feel like it is a fun book because my boys drew the illustrations. There's also like the hearts that are hidden in all the pictures, and the wording, I love how it came out, just the loving and gentle rhyming and all that. But yeah, the fact that there is a part that's educational. And when I wrote the tips, I wrote from two lenses, from my therapist lens and also from my mom lens, and the fact that this was the first time I was grieving the loss of a pet, so just combining both of those. And I think it was so fun the way that we approached this, from so many ways. And so I have one of our examples here, is I had gone on Amazon, and this stuffed animal actually perfectly resembles what our Skeeter looked like. And so it's beautiful that almost 2 years later, my one son sleeps with Skeeter every night still. He goes lots of places with us, and so it's just beautiful, and it warms my heart, as a mom, to see that we've found, several ways to kind of keep his memory alive. We also just, have scrapbooks of him, and we ordered blankets with photos of him. And I think one of the messages that I really want to get across in the book is that grief looks differently for all of us, right? So these are just gentle tips and tools, right, that you can use or not,
Mhm.
right? And I'm even open to, my contact information is in the book. I love to hear from the readers as well. If share your story about your pets, I'd love to hear it. Share other tips and ideas and things that have been helpful for you and your children and your family, because I always want to learn more things that I haven't thought of.
That's a beautiful thing. And I was impressed as a reader and editor and a mom, how many tips that you had that I had never heard of. And I think this is a neat thing too, that you made this book very interactive, which my
Yes.
hats off to you because, as a parent, you got to keep these kids interested, engaged, and engaged. And so not only do you have the hidden hearts on every page, but here you
Mhm.
have a section where you encourage them to draw a picture of their pet
Mhm.
and write something.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
it's just, I think that was really your expertise as a counselor and a mom coming through there. And so tell me a little bit about something I also thought was wonderful is the illustrations being done by your sons. I think
Mhm.
sometimes people try to pretend that it's a childlike drawing and it just doesn't work, right? But
Yeah.
your boys draw. How did that process go for you?
They they are very creative. Like that's always kind of been one of our things. So I feel like it just naturally kind of came into my mind that I love to write. I also love to draw. They love to be creative. So it just kind of blended together and we kind of ran with it, you know. And I love that their artistic, you know, creativity shows through. Like I think you can see that in a lot of the illustrations, like the love in it, you know, and their creativity. Um, and I think that's something like as a mom, like I love books that shows children. Like I think so often we feel like things need to be perfect, right? And I think maybe this is an example of like we can just be who we are, adults, kids, like the illustrations I think show what they're supposed to show, you know, just the way that they are. You know, it doesn't have to be something perfect. It can just be something real from the heart.
Exactly. And I remember I was so impressed because I have two sons, and I was so impressed that you set out to do this with your boys over the summer, right?
Hmm.
Because you knew that
Hmm.
was going to set it up for success. And
Hmm.
then as you help them very gently by setting very realistic schedule. So you
Hmm.
like, we're going to do this in a weekend, boys. No,
Hmm.
you sort of
Hmm.
had a schedule. And so that was
Hmm.
very admirable. And I think that one important thing for authors to keep in mind, if you do decide to go this route, is to have a professional book designer who's able to then work with the child's
Yes.
art and make
Yeah.
it adjust, because
Hmm.
it's not realistic to think you're going to get the 7-year-old to adjust
Right.
to the book format.
Right.
You have to have their
Right.
professional be able to adjust the art and make the art work.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely. Because
so
my one son was very much into the detail. Like he was, you know, full steam ahead and everything. And my other son was a little more timid of like, I don't know. Like I think he was more of the perfectionist. Like it's not going to look just right. And I'm like, it doesn't have to. So for him, it was like, okay, if I draw this part of it, will you color it in or draw this part of it or whatever, you know? Or let's do a ball or let's do, you know, and just trying to like sit with him and encourage him, right, to let his creativity shine, you know, like I can just sit with you and encourage you to draw certain things. Not every picture has to be Skeeter. It can be all these aspects of them, you know. Right, right, you know, like being outside. He loved fetching branches. He loved playing ball. Let's, you know, his paw prints were always everywhere. Let's do the paw prints, you know. So just all the little aspects. Again, nothing has to be fancy. It's just real, you know. It's just real life, and it's a place from a place of love.
thank you for saying that, Vicky. And I think now more than ever, as we're seeing more and more AI, it's very inauthentic. And I think that
Hmm.
naturally people are going to gravitate more to that authenticity of real life. And so we
Hmm.
put right on the cover, for kids by kids.
Hmm.
We really wanted
Yeah,
people to understand that this is actually illustrated. The other thing I thought was cool is we have a picture of Skeeter on the back.
absolutely.
It was
Yep.
awesome.
Hmm.
So another thing that I admire so much is that you had a heart from the very beginning to donate a percentage of the money from the book for pets in need. And the fact that we put that right on the cover, because I think it makes a difference in purchasing decisions, right? I think when someone knows something is going to come of this is going to be donated, it helps. So can you
Hmm.
tell me a little bit about those donations?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, honestly, we donate, we just love donating in general, you know, and to know that it's going to a place and to actually like we've been there, we've volunteered, you know, there's so many ways to donate. They have a ongoing Amazon wish list. We bake for their
Oh,
bake sales, you know, and so the donations that we receive from the sales of the books just basically just adds to what we're already contributing, you know. So, you know, there's one month where we can maybe give a little bit more, you know, because we sold some books, you know, so it's a few more items off of that wish list or doing an extra bake sale or, you know, they're always in need. And if you have the ability to step into that particular shelter, which is the Center for Animal Health and Welfare, you can just tell the staff, the volunteers, like, they want to be there. They love these animals, you know, seeing, you know, them running around, their tails wagging, and just their joy of getting some type of affection and attention. So, donating time and donating money, there's so many ways to be involved to just spread that love with, you know, towards them.
also, and the fact that you're modeling that for your sons is such a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. So, because they're going to get that wonderful feeling of giving. And so, you have a wonderful tip for aspiring authors in general, Vicky. And that's so awesome to see your writing career grow. I know you just published an article, yay,
Hmm.
which is
Hmm.
fantastic. And you're working on another one that actually integrates your book. Can you talk a little bit
Yes.
about that?
Yes. So I'm so excited I was given this opportunity to write articles for the Lehigh Valley Ledger. And my first one was submitted this past month about ecotherapy. And the one for April, based off of National Pet Day, is talking about the animal shelter that I just spoke about and all the ways to donate and volunteer and become involved. And then, of course, it also, mentions our book and how, we help with donations as well. So I really, not just because I wrote it and my boys contributed, but I really do. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of what we put together. And I really do think it is something that's beneficial for children and their parents and families and pet owners to, that love of your pet, it never goes away. It's always with you. And I think this just reminds you of all the beautiful small ways that our pet, those memories stay with us and ways that you can contribute to spreading that love to other animals that are still in need of it.
That's tremendous, Vicky. And you said something that I think I really want to call out because that's another tip for authors, which is it's so important for authors to really be proud of their book, to really love their book. And I see that in you because you speak about your book with such love and such affection and such pride of your sons, especially. And that comes through and that
Mhm.
translates into more sales, more promotion, better things. And so I think you took a great amount of care in creating this book and you really, really worked hard and you poured that love into this book and it shows and that
Mhm.
helps it to connect the reader. So we're going to link, of course, in the description to the book on Amazon and also
Thank
to
you.
Vicky's current article on the next article. And so, friends, I hope you've enjoyed this really tip filled video because Vicky has just done so much right. And thank you, Vicky, so much for joining me.
Thank you so much, Jen. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And thank you, friends. Please like and subscribe for more.